Victoria Whitmore, billionaire CEO in her $1,000 suit, kneels on a dirty break room floor beside a struggling 7-year-old girl. Sophie gasps for air, her tiny shoulders heaving. Tom clutches his daughter, this janitor father watching his whole world fight to breathe. "My private elevator's faster," Victoria commands, pulling them both toward a hidden door. Before we dive in, comment where in the world you are watching from, and don't forget to click subscribe. Kneels on a dirty break room floor beside a struggling 7-year-old girl. Sophie gasps for air, her tiny shoulders heaving. Tom clutches his daughter, this janitor father watching his whole world fight to breathe. "My private elevator's faster," Victoria commands, pulling them both toward a hidden door. The security guard barely glanced at Tom Bennett's weathered ID badge as he pushed his cleaning cart through the gleaming lobby of Whitmore Industries. 4 in the morning was his time, when marble floors reflected only emergency lighting, and his 7-year-old daughter Sophie slept peacefully in the break room he'd converted into a makeshift bedroom. School was canceled again, another teacher strike, and Mrs. Chen couldn't watch her today. Tom had made the choice that terrified him most, bringing Sophie to work, praying no one would notice before his shift ended. Sophie had promised to stay quiet, to color in her books, and eat the sandwiches he'd packed. She understood, with the wisdom poverty brings to children, that Daddy's job was how they kept their apartment, how they bought her asthma medicine, how they survived since Mama went to heaven 2 years ago. Tom checked on her once more, her small form curled under his jacket, blonde curls spilling across the worn couch cushion. Her breathing was steady tonight. No wheeze, signaling another emergency room visit they couldn't afford. He returned to his rote, ascending to the executive floor, where CEO Victoria Whitmore's office commanded a corner view. Tom had never seen her in person during his 2 years here. Only her photograph in the lobby, pristine blonde hair and sharp blue eyes that seemed to evaluate everything. The office was usually empty at this hour, but light spilled from beneath her door. He heard a voice, tight with frustration, speaking rapidly. He should leave, but his schedule was precise. Hesitating, he knocked softly. Victoria Whitmore opened the door herself, and Tom's first thought wasn't about her tailored suit, but about the exhaustion carved into her features, the kind makeup couldn't hide. She looked how he felt after Sophie's bad nights, when breathing became battle and sleep became memory. "I'm sorry to disturb you, ma'am." "I can come back," Tom offered, already backing away. "No, it's fine. Please, continue your work." She returned to her desk, attacking her laptop keys with barely controlled energy. Then his phone buzzed, the break room number. His blood turned cold. Sophie never called unless something was wrong. He answered immediately, turning away from Victoria. "Daddy," Sophie's voice was small, scared. "I can't breathe good. My medicine isn't working." Tom's world narrowed to that voice, that wheeze he knew too well. "I'm coming, sweetheart. Use your inhaler again." He abandoned his cart, racing for the elevator. But Victoria was suddenly there, grabbing his arm. "What's wrong?" she demanded. "My daughter. She's having an asthma attack. She's downstairs. I brought her. School was canceled. I couldn't—" The words tumbled out as he pulled away, but Victoria held firm. "Where?" "Break room, 3rd floor. We're taking my private elevator." "It's faster." She pulled him toward a hidden door in the wood paneling. They burst into the break room to find Sophie struggling, her small shoulders working hard for each breath. Tom gathered her immediately, feeling the familiar rattle in her chest. "Hey, princess." "Daddy's here." Victoria knelt beside them, her voice suddenly gentle. "Sophie, I'm Victoria. You're being so brave. My friend Dr. Morrison is the best lung doctor in the city. She's waiting for us." Sophie's eyes widened with fear. "Daddy can't afford—" Tom started, but Victoria cut him off. "We're wasting time." The next hour blurred into medical efficiency. Victoria's car, Victoria's calls, Victoria commanding the emergency room like she commanded boardrooms. Sophie was stabilized, given treatments Tom knew cost more than he made monthly. Through it all, Victoria stayed, this titan of industry sitting in a plastic chair, still in her $1,000 suit. Why? Tom finally asked when Sophie dozed. Victoria was silent, watching the little girl sleep. My sister had severe asthma. She died when she was 9, an attack at school. They didn't have her medication. The words hung between them, heavy with old grief. Tom saw her differently then, not as the untouchable CEO, but as someone who understood the terror of watching a child fight for breath. Sophie needs better preventive care, Victoria said. I know, I'm saving for it. The insurance only covers so much. Tom's shame at admitting his financial reality burned, but Sophie mattered more than pride. Victoria pulled out her phone. Martha? I need the best pediatric pulmonologists in the city. Set appointments for this week, bill them to my personal account, and arrange a meeting with HR about improving our employee childcare benefits. Sophie stirred, eyes fluttering open. Daddy? She whispered through the mask. Right here, princess. She looked at Victoria. Are you the boss lady? Daddy says you run everything. Victoria's composed facade cracked, a genuine smile breaking through. I try to. But your daddy does the real work, keeping everything safe for us. Sophie studied her with that direct child's gaze. You look sad, though. Like you need someone to take care of you, too. Victoria's eyes glistened. Maybe I do, Sophie. Over the following weeks, something shifted. Sophie saw specialists Victoria arranged, receiving treatment that prevented attacks rather than just responding to them. Victoria instituted emergency childcare at Whitmore Industries, claiming it was for productivity, but Tom saw her there, reading to children during lunch. She began arriving early when Tom worked, bringing coffee for both of them. They talked while he cleaned. Real conversations about Sophie, about his wife Emma, who'd been a teacher, about Victoria's 17-hour days, and the loneliness success hadn't cured. The day everything changed was Tuesday. Tom found Victoria on the roof garden, crying quietly after a brutal board meeting about layoffs. They're going to force it through, she said. All those families destroyed for percentage points. You tried, Tom offered, sitting beside her, professional distance forgotten. Sometimes trying isn't enough, she replied, then looked at him with something raw in her eyes. How do you do it, Tom? Keep going when everything seems impossible? You find what matters most and hold on to it, Tom said. Everything else is just noise. Victoria studied him. What if you don't have anything to hold on to? Then you find something. Or someone finds you. The moment stretched between them, charged with possibility. Then his phone rang. Sophie's school. She'd defended a smaller boy from bullies, gotten in trouble for shoving the bigger kid. At the school they found Sophie fierce and unrepentant. They were being mean about his dad being gone, she explained. Victoria knelt to Sophie's level. Standing up for others is never wrong, even when it gets you in trouble. Sophie slipped her hand into Victoria's. You stood up for those people at work today. Daddy told me. That evening in Tom's small apartment, Victoria helped with homework while Tom cooked dinner. It should have been awkward, this collision of worlds, but it felt like puzzle pieces finding their fit. Stay, Sophie said when Victoria rose to leave. We're having movie night. Later, wearing Tom's old sweatpants, Victoria curled on their worn couch with Sophie between them. When Sophie fell asleep, Victoria whispered, This is what I've been missing, isn't it? This is what actually matters. It's one of the things, Tom agreed. Victoria reached across Sophie, taking Tom's hand. I want this, not just tonight, this, U.S. Is that crazy? Tom squeezed her hand, thinking of all the reasons it shouldn't work. Then he thought of Sophie's butterfly drawings, of Victoria fighting for those jobs. Maybe crazy is what we both need. 6 months later, the gossip magazines had a field day. CEO marries janitor. But in Sophie's drawings, now framed in Victoria's office beside billion-dollar contracts, 3 butterflies soared together. At their small wedding in the hospital chapel where Sophie had been saved, Victoria's vows were simple. You taught me that love isn't about what you can afford to give, but what you can't afford not to. Tom's were simpler still. You saw us when we were invisible. You made us visible to ourselves again. Sophie, their flower girl, added her own declaration. Families happen when people choose each other. The board learned to schedule around school plays. The merger was restructured, saving jobs. Employees work harder for leaders who see them as people. Some nights Tom still cleaned, old habits bringing peace. Victoria would join him, pushing a mop in designer heels, talking through problems. Sophie would find them there, making the executive floor echo with childhood's music. Love wasn't about finding someone perfect, but finding someone whose broken pieces could be beautiful when held up to the light.